I am vengeance. I am the night. I am your friendly neighborhood comic book host. Hey everybody, my name's Chris, and you can catch me on Facebook. You can eventually catch me on Twitch. I get on TikTok from time to time. But mostly, I just get on Facebook for the time being. But my favorite thing to do is talk about comic books and anything based off of comic books. Like that dang gum Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was a disappointment to some degree, but in the end it made a lot of sense and it explained a lot of comic book related stuff. Like, I wasn't a fan of them making Batman out to be a bad guy, but it turned out that wasn't exactly Batman. That was more of Bruce Wayne. And after reading on some of this new Batman stuff, it makes a lot of sense, because Bruce Wayne, the real Bruce Wayne I should say, is, well, he's a villain, and he goes by Omega, which sounds pretty cool. Don't really know all that much about the character, but I do know he's the real Bruce Wayne, and he battles against Batman, who is a clone of Bruce Wayne. Go figure. I wasn't so sure about the idea at first because it sounds like some kind of mockery to Spider-Man. But even if that is the case, it's got a lot of potential. I'll give it that. Now, the fact that Superman gave up his powers to be with Lois Lane and the kids. Lois Lane, as far as I'm aware, and I've read a lot of comic books, Lois Lane never let Superman give up his powers because the people need Superman. Let me know if I'm wrong, please. But in this alternate reality, supposedly Lois Lane does let him give up his powers for whatever reason. And the funny part is Lex Luthor tries to punch freaking Clark. Clark grabs Lex Luthor's hand and crushes it as if he still had his powers. I found that funny. Of course, that doesn't really make Lex Luthor look like he's worth anything. Now, this CW Arrowverse version of Superman is going to have his own show. That's cool. But I just don't know if I'm going to be too into the show itself. I mean, a retired Superman who's raising some kids of his own. I don't know. Batwoman, that show has had a lot of fans. I don't really, I understand why a lot of fans don't like Batwoman. They say the acting sucks. The acting may not be my cup of tea, but the girl really knows how to kick butt. The actress insults older men and says her show's not for the older men idea. It's more for the little boys, which, I don't know. I don't see it either way. I do like what they got going since they killed Arrow off, and now Arrow has a daughter named Mia, who is going to be the new Green Arrow. And she's going to be in this new CW show called The Birds of Prey or whatever. Okay, that sounds like a good thing to watch, especially since all the chicks are going to be pretty hot. I'm all for that. Don't know how that's going to look since they just came out with a movie with the same name, but Harley Quinn's in the movie and not in the show. Give me some thoughts on that. Let me see here. They're trying to get John Diggle to be the Green Lantern. John Stewart. They claim that his stepfather was General something another Stewart. Okay, I can see that working out. I'm not going to diss the idea. I'm not a big John Stewart fan in the comic book or the cartoon wise, but I would love to see a Green Lantern in the Arrowverse, period. That's my personal reference. The Flash. There's a lot of crap saying that they messed up on the Flash because they brought Reverse Flash back. How is that a mess up? I mean, every time the Reverse Flash makes an appearance, he proves to be smarter than Barry Allen and faster, for whatever reason, basically helping Barry Allen get faster and kick his butt. I don't see the problem with that. It looks good on Barry Allen, but I am personally getting tired of basically seeing the same villains over and over again. So that's probably why they're saying that. I saw some previews of the new season for Flash where Grodd talks. That means they're going to evolve the show before long. I'm all for that. Think. Oh, The Legends of Tomorrow. Good show. Good show. I love the show. I don't like that they're getting rid of Ray Palmer. I mean, I'm not a big fan of his, but I don't like the idea that they're getting rid of him because he kinda... It's kind of like taking the Flash out of the Justice League. If you were to make a movie without Flash around the Justice League, that would kill the idea. I guarantee once they start filming Legends of Tomorrow without Ray Palmer, it's going to be a dud. They're going to try to replace him, but It's just not going to work out. I guarantee it. Don't get me wrong. Sarah Lance is hot as hell. So are some of the other chicks in the show. But hotness can only go so far. You've got to have Ray Palmer for the comedy effort. And that Rick, or whatever his name is, the four-eyed guy in the show who tries to be funny? No, I could do without him. Now, the guy, Brandon Rouge, or whatever his name is, that played Ray Palmer, also played Kingdom Come Superman. I loved that. It's a shame that it was such a short-lived idea. I would love to see more of that. Alright. Supergirl. Okay. We've already talked about the Superman that's from that show, but they're evolving Alex to some point when she's not even an actual character. I'm curious to see where they go with that. If they evolve her enough, she might become an actual comic book character people love. I would love to see that. Brainiac 5. They've done a lot with him that I have loved seeing happen. Now, my problem with what they're doing with Brainiac 5 is they're doing this thing where he basically unlocks his full potential and it turns him into a villain. They have to relock it once he gets done doing whatever it is he's using his potential for. I'm not a big fan of that. Okay. Now, let's talk about what's his name again? Wally West or whatever? The guy who's supposed to replace Barry Allen as the Flash. Yes, Wally. The fact that they tried to give him an upgrade and gave him the powers of Dr. Manhattan. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. It seems really stupid to me. They're doing all this upgrading superheroes, basically trying to make them look like Dragon Ball characters, which I can see their point, but they're getting really stupid with it, I guess. Oh, speaking of being stupid, let's see here. Marvel wants to buy out DC Comics. A rivalry that has gone since the beginning of comic books. And Marvel wants to buy them out. Yeah, I don't see that happening. What about y'all? Ugh. Marvel. I am not a fan of Marvel. Never have been. Well, I say I'm not a fan, but there are some Marvel stuff I love. Like Wolverine and Spider-Man and blah, blah, blah. They're funny. They're interesting. But I'm more of a DC fan. You won't catch me dissing Marvel. I'll diss the Marvel fans because they get really stupid. I mean, let's face it. Hulk can beat all of DC because of blah, blah, blah. Thor can beat all of DC because of blah, blah, blah. And then you got DC. Superman can defeat all of Marvel because of blah, blah, blah. Batman can beat all of Marvel if you give him enough prep time, blah, blah, blah. Guys, quit fighting about it and just enjoy the combat. Oh, and before I forget, for those of you who are interested, I also like to talk about manga. Because manga is a type of comic books. And with that said, I would like to start my own little Yu-Gi-Oh group to duel on Yu-Gi-Oh Pro. And I would like to take that group and turn it into something more than just dueling. Maybe play some video games like DC Universe or something of that nature. Maybe do some role-playing, etc., etc. If you're interested, hit me up. You can find me on Facebook in a group called Comicverse. Now, I also talk about horror flicks like Jason and Freddy and Chucky. Speaking of Chucky, I hate the new Chucky. That is lame. Or look at me, instead of being a human soul that possessed a doll, I'm a freaking toy that got manipulated by a hacker. Sounds like something from Toy Soldiers. I do not like the remake of Jason or Freddy. Freddy is nothing more than basically all of Freddy's jokes bundled up in 30 minutes. One scene, he says like half of his jokes. Boring. Lame. I love Tales from the Crypt. Heck, I even like Goosebumps. Goosebumps, Rare and Bubble. Goosebumps is rated Y7 for kids under 7. Well, let's see here. And for those of you who are wondering why I'm doing all this talking and I haven't even mentioned any comic books yet, I've kind of been out of the comic book world for the most part. When I was little, I read comic books like Superman teaming up with Nightwing. I've read Superman versus like 1,000 Batman. I've read 1,000 comic books when I was younger. But as of recently, the latest comic books I've read was, okay, there was The Flash becoming the Blue Lantern, which was good. He was the Blue Lantern, and he battled some kind of evil counterpart of himself, which was like some kind of demon. Okay? I also read an entire series of Batman comic books. I can't really remember the name of it, but it introduced a new sidekick for Batman called Blue Jay. Blue Jay was pretty cool, even though eventually Blue Jay went to the dark side and tried to kill people, kind of like Huntress. Think Huntress acting like Oracle. A computer genius who likes to go kill. Go figure that one out. Okay. Well, guys, I think that pretty well wraps up everything I have to say. Catch me next time on the same Bat channel, same Bat network. Toodaloo!